uncertain and very frightening. I think someone might be live doing something somewhere.
I think we're live. Hi, guys.
Corey freaking Perlman and Jess freaking Todtfeld.
And
Welcome
David
to the
freaking
Social.
Newman.
And David freaking Newman.
David freaking Newman. Welcome to the Social plus Media plus Marketing Show. We the three of us.
Why is it, David? Why is it the Social plus Media plus Marketing Show?
Well, I'll tell you, Jess Todtfeld, because we're going to talk about some strategies, tactics, ideas, insights, and inspiration for your social game plan. We're going to talk about some strategies, advice, insights, resources, and inspiration for your media game plan, and et cetera, for your marketing game plan, because we have Corey Perlman from Impact Social Media. Let's put the URLs up.
Let's do
Impact
that.
Social Media.
The
Jess
bell
Todtfeld, MediaAmbassadors.com, and yours truly from Do It Marketing. So we know a little something about social plus media plus marketing.
Yes, we do. And I'm creating a watch party right now on my feed. So anybody else who's joining us, we hope you would do the same. We're going to attempt to create as many value bombs in a short amount of time as we possibly can. So here we go. I'm starting my watch party now. Bam. I can hear you right now, David. You're live.
Watch party. It's a watch party.
All right,
Everyone's
well, now I gotta do
watching.
that.
It's a party. How about that?
I love it.
I'm going to try to talk and type.
Yeah, it's very hard to do.
Oh my goodness. This
We
is
have so much to share today about
Yeah.
social media marketing, about
So, Jess-
media marketing,
Jeff,
about
you go. You do your share watch party, and I'm gonna throw Newman a question. How about that,
boom.
Ooh, exciting.
Newman? You're one of the people that I go to in all seriousness for wise wisdom and value. I know that's hard for you to hear because you probably only hear it 17 times a day. But what are you telling your clients right now with all this mess when it comes to marketing? Just big picture for a second. What are you telling your folks?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. And what I'm hearing is, this is a terrible time to sell. I can't sell. It's insensitive. It's not right. It seems opportunistic. I don't want to be an ambulance chaser. Here's the soundbite. It is absolutely a time to help more. It's absolutely a time to serve more and to do more for your prospects, your clients, your community, your industry. But it is absolutely not a time to sell any less, because people need help. And even with good times, bad times, upside down times, people always need help. We are not business owners. We are not speakers, consultants, coaches. We are professional problem solvers. And the bigger the problems, the more clients need us. So if you're sitting there going, I can't possibly sell, I feel bad about selling, I feel bad about pitching, it comes across as insensitive, ambulance chasing. It's not ambulance chasing. You know what it is? People are hurt and you're the ambulance. You're the ambulance. Like, no, I don't want to drive the ambulance there to the accident because, people are hurt. Well, let me get this straight. You don't want to drive the ambulance to the accident scene because people are hurt. Isn't that why they need the ambulance? Isn't that why you need to show up and offer some free help, some low-cost help, some premium help, and some maybe super premium help? I mean, the more people are hurting, the more they need you. And if that's not true, by the way, you got to get a different business model or a different service model or get into a different business. True. Because I know for the three of us, people need us now more than ever. None of what we do was ever a nice to have. It was always a have to have. Now, even more people have to have it. And I think that's the mindset shift that, yes, we should be giving more and serving more and helping more, not a time to sell any less. But Corey Perlman, what are you telling your clients?
I appreciate that. First, I just want to say hello to Mary and Mike Shore and Andrew Coco and Brian Hayes and Jean for coming on and saying hello to everybody from my side. So thanks for being here. These are two of my favorite human beings. And we're talking everything marketing, social media, and media. And so David just touched on the fact that we can't hit the complete stop button on selling right now, or we're going to go out of business, right? So I think you're absolutely right. My key there, David, is creating context around what we're selling. I think if we just go out as business as usual, in my humble opinion, we look insensitive and not really paying attention to what's happening in the world. But I also agree with you that we can't simply stop selling or our businesses will die. So I think it's a matter of figuring out what problems our clients are facing today and recognizing that as we talk about it on the different media that we are selling on. So for example, if I'm sending out an email marketing piece, and I'm talking about, something that I'm a premium service that I'm selling, I want to create some context around that. Today, people are working virtually, obviously, more than ever before. My entire team has been virtual for the past 11 years. I can help other businesses through that process, and I'm willing to help, and kind of, wrapping around that where it makes sense to sell that type of solution in today's environment. So I completely agree. It's important to offer value. It's definitely okay to sell. Just make sure you're putting some context around it. Jess, what are you thinking in the world of media? What's on your mind?
There has never been a better time for you to be featured people in the media, but you need to match the environment of what's being talked about. Take what you talk about normally and make it work now. The media needs your help, meaning traditional media. They need content. They have an unending need for content. And in this broadcast, I'm going to show you how you can also get into Fortune or Entrepreneur or Inc. magazine, as you see them all up behind me. So some of you guys know me, but I know I'm on the broadcast here, and there are other folks. But over here, I set a Guinness record for publicity, and today I'm going to walk you through exactly what you can do and give you some specifics to go get some press. And we're going to match it with Corey Perlman on the social media side and David Newman on the marketing side. You need marketing if you have a business. It's how you bring yourself to market.
Amen.
Amen.
David Newman, what do you add to that?
Yeah. Well, I think that this is, as far as visibility, and because here's the other thing I hear. They say, well, David, I don't want to show up on Facebook. I don't want to do a webinar. Everyone's doing a webinar now. Everyone is pitching all this free stuff, and I don't want to get lost in the noise. So think about that statement. Everyone's doing extra work, extra visibility, extra credibility, extra media, extra social. I don't want to get lost in the noise. So you don't want to get lost by doing nothing. So you think your key to standing out is to be completely silent and completely invisible while your competition is reaching out to help more, serve more, show up. So I send a daily email, as you guys know, and I get all kinds of replies and responses from that email. The one theme over the last, let's say, 2 weeks has been, David, thank you for continuing to show up. How many of us can say that legitimately you have earned the right through your social media, through your media, through your marketing, through your email, through all of the channels at your disposal? Who would thank you for continuing to show up with value, with help, with resources? Our buddy Jay Bear calls it utility, right? Utility, that you are radically helpful. You are radically relevant. To Jess's point about now you have to shape that around the context. And I think, Corey, you said it too. You have to shape the context around your content and keep showing up and keep being helpful and keep being relevant. Being invisible doesn't help anybody. And being silent doesn't serve anyone in your audience or anyone in your prospect base.
I completely agree with you, David. And I think you hit on a word that I think is really important, which is continue. A lot of our clients are reaping the benefit of being able to continue to market today because they marketed before. I think where we get into trouble is people take this as an opportunity to connect and to add value, and they weren't earning the right before. In your situation and Jess's situation, you guys were delivering value over and over and over again, weeks and months and years beforehand. And so this is a natural progression for you to continue to communicate with your audience. You're just doing it in a different way, or you're conveying different topics. But to just show up today and start delivering all of a sudden and pumping people full of emails and messages is very challenging. I just really quickly want to say, and then I'm going to pass it back over to Jess. We got a comment here from Andrew Toko. He says, I'm in a different industry, but see parallels in what you're talking about. A lot of your competitors are going to be dropping the ball during this pandemic and will be underserving their clients. This will absolutely be an opportunity for you guys to grow business and help more clients. Jess, thoughts on that?
Absolutely. We had a few choices as this thing started. We can freeze, it's like fight, flight, or freeze. We can freeze, and believe me, everyone wants to do that. We're human beings. But if we freeze in business, everybody runs past us. So the question is, how can we authentically do the right thing in this time to keep business moving? The good news is we can, and we should be moving forward, because freezing doesn't help anybody, doesn't help ourselves, but it doesn't help those people that we serve.
Amen.
All right, I want to jump in with a strategy.
Go.
I happen to have it right next to me over here. Number one is social proof. And it is helpful to tighten the loop on business for you, whether you're looking to get more referrals or actually close more business or put in proposals or whatever it is that your business is. You tighten that loop when you have social proof. So what is social proof? That's proof from others. In my case, I'm talking about the media, meaning traditional media, to say you are the real deal. They interviewed you, they profiled you in some way, even if it was just a quote, and it shows you as a real deal. And I'm going to be talking today about where you put that, but you want social proof. So I was standing on the other side of the room here. So you see my home studio set up. Nobody comes in here actually besides me, but my family can come in here, but I don't bring clients in here. I use it just for broadcasting. So it's kind of set up perfectly as this whole thing went down. But to have magazine social proof, to have the Guinness record over there. Here is a New York Times clipping where I was able to get myself and 9 of my friends into the same story. So we want social proof. When you have that, not just over your shoulder, but like I said, on your website, putting it on social media, which bounces it back over to Corey's area, that's where you're throwing lighter fluid on your marketing. Gentlemen?
Completely agree. I'll just add to that real quick, David. I'll pass it back to you. I think that's a perfect segue into social media. Where do you put social proof? So folks that are watching this and they put their social media hats on, LinkedIn's a great place for it. I've always, I love putting social proof, obviously wherever I can put it, but specifically on the professional summary, the first part of the paragraph that people can read. So beyond talking about yourself, what can you share in your professional summary that's social proof? So for example, having in the speaking world, your CSP, you might put that in there. Maybe a testimonial from a well-known brand. I might put a quote in my professional summary there. Even in my past experience, I try to put brands in there to show off a little bit of clout there. And then, of course, your website's a great place for social proof, and Newman can totally touch on that as well. But to your point, Jess, any opportunity for other people to tell other people how great we are as opposed to us is a good thing, and especially if they have a notable brand behind them. Newman?
Yes. Well, let me pick up on this whole testimonial and recommendation thing. There's probably nothing more important. And you might have some, and some might be old, some might be new, you might have none. I think we all need to do a full court press on more recommendations, testimonials. So what we do on a regular basis is anytime a client has any degree of tangible success, and usually it's pretty big, but doesn't have to be pretty big, we will say, hey, can we hop on Zoom for 5 or 10 minutes and do a quick case study interview, video testimonial, where someone says about where they were, what they got from your product or service or program, where they are now, and then future, where they think they're going to be with the assets and with the capabilities that you've given them. There is nothing better in the world than actual client case studies and success stories saying, here's where I was, here's what Jess did for me, here's where I'm going, and I can now clearly see that my business or my career is going to be going in X, Y, and Z direction. So I would do that with video. I would do that with recommendations on LinkedIn. I went on a rampage about 5 years ago and then ongoing. And I showed a friend of mine, I said, he was asking something totally unrelated. And I said, well, pop over to my LinkedIn profile and see what I've done with X, Y, and Z. And we're on the phone because this was pre-Zoom. We're on the phone. And he goes, whoa, David, what is going on? And I said, what's wrong? He says, you have 153 recommendations. I said, yeah, so? He says, well, don't you realize that's without even reading any of them? That's a data point in and of itself. I was like, yeah, I guess it is. So here's my early benchmark. And it depends how active you are on LinkedIn. I used to say you should have a 1 to 10 connection to recommendation ratio. So if you've got 50 connections, you should have 5 recommendations. You have 500 first degree connections, you should have 50 recommendations. When you get 1,000 first degree connections, you should have 100 recommendations. Because this can be from any aspect of your life. It does not have to be, it's in my current job, it's me as an entrepreneur, it's me as a consultant. No, it could be from your personal life. It could be from your community, from your church, from your chapter of a local trade and professional association that you begin with. I was on the conference committee with Jen, and Jen was so fantastic, always reliable, always early, always over-delivered, and everyone that worked with her thought she was awesome. She made us look great. Was that paid? Was that free? Who cares? Two criteria. Number one, it needs to be written about you in any context at any point and phase in your life. It needs to be about you, and it needs to be true. Other than that, say, no, that was 2 jobs ago, I can't ask her. Sure you can. Sure you can. And you should, because we all have this hidden network of people who love us and support us and want to see us do well, and you're not asking them for enough help. I'm done ranting.
It's true.
David, I love that you brought up that one other point, that it needs to be true. Yes, truth is important, and nobody's going to nail you if you just put all the true stuff out there. It absolutely should be. That's why I love these guys. Yeah. So social proof, all those things count as social proof. Certainly media does, and certainly all those recommendations. Oh my gosh, so much good stuff today. Which brings us to something David brought up before, visibility. So when it comes to any of the marketing that we do, certainly social media marketing, we want to be visible. Now, if you go and you do a traditional interview, you're going to be visible at the time of the interview, but the trick is to keep using that and put it all over social media, not just on a media page on your website, but have little links on all of your pages. One of the things I help people to do is to get on ABC, NBC, Fox, and CBS authentically and be able to put those logos on their website. And then when people say, is that the case? Well, go ahead and click over here. Go watch me on one of those networks. It's a very, very cool thing to be able to do. And you get to talk about what it is that you do, that third-party credibility. But you got to be visible. As we opened it up, David was saying, if we freeze, even out of this time, if we freeze, nobody's going to know who we are. So we want to take something like that and put it everywhere. And David, before I throw it back to either you two guys who want to build on that, something that David once said at least 2 years ago on a webinar or a broadcast that I think about all the time was sense of urgency. Do you remember saying that, David?
Yeah.
Sense of urgency. David said that at a time when we weren't in the situation that we are, that, we kind of sit around or like, it's the end of the day, I'm going to chill out, or it's the weekend. So I just want to throw that extra piece. Yes, we have to be visible, but everything we're talking about, there needs to be a sense of urgency.
Well, not only that, Jess, but everybody's collectively hit the pause button right now. It couldn't be a better time to work on our visibility than right now. And so my addition to that is I've been telling everybody to do a digital audit of themselves and or their business. So literally to type into Google your name, your business name, and see what comes up, because it's one thing to be visible, and I don't disagree with you at all, but there's also negative visibility as well, right? You've got Yelp reviews, you've got Google My Business reviews, you've got Facebook comments, Instagram posts, you know, that you may or may not be aware of. It's a great time to be able to, again, park the proverbial car the side of the road and work on the business instead of in the business, to look at your general online reputation and see how great it is and where it needs work. And going back to David's point, once you've got enough LinkedIn recommendations, well, what about Yelp reviews? What about Google My Business reviews? What about Facebook recommendations? What about website testimonials? So do a digital audit of your business, see where you are visible, see where the holes in your game are, and then make those fixes now. To your point, Jess, there's no better time to work on the important, not urgent box than today, when we're all collectively at this point hitting the pause button.
And David, I'm curious, as you were about to add something else in.
Yeah.
How do you define, as he is the marketing guy? Go and Google do it marketing. You're going to see his books, and you're going to see probably an Amazon link. But as the premier marketing guy in the world, David Newman, how do you, I was going to say America, but why not make it the world? How do you define marketing for people tuning in?
Wow, what a fantastic question. So I look at marketing as everything that you need to do before having a human-to-human conversation with a prospect. So everything online, offline, your website, your brand, your social media, your PR, your visibility, your media credentials, everything that gets them to knock on your door, send an email inquiry, send you a Facebook message saying, Jess Todtfeld, I'm so sick and tired of hearing from you. I need to work with you now. I've heard from 17 people that you're the bomb.com. So whatever you did before that message comes in, that, dude, I don't know who you are, I don't know where you came from, but I keep hearing amazing, fantastic things about the results you get for your clients. Whatever came before that is marketing. And at that point, once you have a human-to-human connection, phone, Zoom, etc., that's when the sales part takes over. So I think there is visibility, there is credibility, there is buyability, meaning that people trust you, right? Know, like, trust factor. And at that point, an inquiry comes in, a lead is generated, an initial sales conversation happens. That to me is the demarcation point. Before that, it was all marketing. After that, it is all sales.
Great.
Sales and relationship building. Now, what's your definition, the two of you, around marketing?
I also just want to quickly say hello to a few people. We've got Joe saying hello to you, David. Evan Sanchez saying, love your advice, marketing gurus. Great job. Thank you, Evan. We appreciate it. We'll keep firing off. Fred Reggie says, hey, David, you're a very popular guy there. Got a few people in here. Nazario joined us. Daniel Matthews, William Becker, thanks for being here. Paul Schemp, fellow NSAer. Brita Miller says hello. Dennis Riddle is here. Daniel De Leon and Jennifer Owens all stopping by to say hi. So I appreciate that. David, I just wrote your definition of marketing into our little chat here on Facebook. So I thought it was fantastic. I think that's a great definition of it. And I think that one thing that you touched on that I just, talking about this day and age and right now is video. And I think that I do want to just mention that now more than ever, we're all in desperate need of connection. And I think that everything we've talked about so far, visibility, testimonials, social proof, can all wrap themselves around video. And nobody's passion comes through clearer than video. So if you could get a video testimonial, even better than a written testimonial, in my humble opinion. And then if you're offering communication marketing via video, you can see your passion and your thought leadership and your credibility come through. And I'm talking to the legend in video himself, Jess Todtfeld. So Jess, why don't you chime in on that, brother?
We do want it in video because we can always transcribe it, but nothing beats having those little YouTube videos all on our website for YouTube for people to stumble on, to put it everywhere. I put them in proposals. People can click on a PDF and end up not on YouTube, but on one of my internal pages and see any of those videos of people saying nice things. And here's something else when it comes to testimonials, another type of social proof, which is you can register a web link, a URL, to direct people into a place to give you testimonials. So I actually have one called givejessareview.com. And that particular one, I have different ones, but that particular one brings them to my Google page because I want Google juice. And sometimes I decide, do I want them on Google? Do I want them to just send me a video with their phone? If it's a live event, I might pull out my phone. Then I know I have it. Do I want to send them to LinkedIn? There's so many places, but if you definitely register one of those email or URLs, that is, web addresses, you'll be able to send it. Look at that, David Newman putting that on it. Give me a review if you want, if you've gotten some value today. And David, I'm going to answer your question so I didn't forget about it. And awesome, Corey, for following who's writing on there, because we do want to not only give you guys lots and lots of value today, but also talk to you and answer questions, do fun stuff. But here's what I wanted to say, David. I've always defined marketing as everything that you do to bring yourself to market. But I love the last piece that you put in there that also either makes the phone ring or brings about a conversation. You can make, business happen. That's an important piece of the whole equation. We need to do business with people. But I always think all of those things, whether it's traditional media or paid advertising or Facebook ads or, typing fun stuff on social media or what we're doing today, all the ways that you put yourself in front of people, you can do it in ways where you're hitting people over the head, or you can do it in easy ways, or you can put a book out. All of those count, but I love that last piece that you put in there, which is that make either the phone ring or make people do something. Should I hit them with one more, and then we maybe even talk to some of the people tuning in?
Sure.
I feel like we have to. I'm staring at it, which is publicity. And we need to publicize what the heck it is that we're doing. So you may have seen the three of us at various times talking about our various books at the right time. David Newman, his new book, Do It Speaking. And my not as new book, but exciting book. I might even give away a free version today. Should I do that?
Sure.
I think you should.
I'm just going to say it right now. freemediasecrets.com is a way that you can get the book for free. You pay the shipping and handling, you get it for free. Boom, there's another way. Corey, your newest book is which one?
Is Social Media Overload.
Social Media Overload.
Yes, a new one needs to come out soon. It's getting a little dated.
No, it's not. It's got some good stuff in there. So publicity, we need to be publicizing. You could use traditional media. I have my little teleprompter over here. I don't really turn the teleprompter on that much. I have a little light over here. But what I do is I'll go on television or I'll go on TV, print or radio. Not only myself, I help other folks to do it. And then again, that thing lives on. But in the moment we're publicizing, we're showing what we're doing. I'll give you a little cool example. I got to be a guest on The Daily Show. Actually, they came to my office. So I wasn't sitting there on the set. But they came to my office, they shot for a whole day. That thing helped me sell future programs for a year because people said, oh, that was kind of fun. Oh, I love seeing you. All right, so let's bring you in. So you want to use those things. Sending it back to you guys and curious who is asking questions and joining in the fun.
Well, you know what? Shall we bring some people on live with us?
That would be
Can
fun.
we try that?
Sure.
That would be
We
fun.
get risky and crazy. So here's what we've done, just because we love you, is we want to do, oh, that's not it. Hang on. We want to do this right, which is like this. Boom. Getinherenow.com. That is the shortcut link to this particular live stream. Getinherenow.com. It is 5:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. This is live happening right now. If you want to join us on screen via StreamYard, type into your browser, getinherenow.com, turn on your camera, turn on your microphone. StreamYard's going to ask you permission to share your camera, permission to share your microphone. You're going to click on that. I'm going to see you in the green room. We're going to bring you on here with Corey Perlman and Jess Todtfeld and me, and we're going to have a 4-way conversation. If there's 2 of you, it'll be a 5-way conversation. If you're not careful, we can have a 6-way conversation because StreamYard lets you put up to 6 people onto the video chat at once. So we're going to keep on ranting here, but if you want to join us, getinherenow.com to join us live, ask your questions, and Jess is doing the finger.
Yes, I was pointing at my screen, which is everybody is seeing their screen. It says getinherenow.com. And I want people to realize there's some stuff we're telling you and some stuff we're showing you, and some we're telling you and showing you. I talked about taking a URL and having it redirect somewhere. David Newman, how cool is it that he owns Get In Here Right Now? Get In Here Now, not right now, some other person. Getinherenow.com. And he is using it. And by the way, he talks about this often. David, you're the reason why I own a whole bunch of URLs that most of them, almost all of them I use. And then every now and then late at night, there's some ridiculous one. And I'm like, what was I doing?
There you go.
I see Leonard here got a hold of the free Media Secrets book.
There you go.
Free Media Secrets. Hey, Leonard, I just saw a little.
Let me share a couple things from Robert Grossman out in LA, because I actually didn't see this. He posted this on my watch party, so I didn't see it pop up in here in StreamYard. Robert asks, can you overdo it with testimonials?
It's funny he asked that question because I didn't necessarily, it's hard to disagree with your best friend and your mentor, David Newman, but I kind of do disagree a little bit. And in terms of I do think you can overdo it. What I tend to do, as opposed to having the 150, is I tend to try to have less, but more value. So quality over quantity. And so then what I'll do is I will hide ones that were either less sizzle or a little bit dated. And so I'm constantly looking for new ones and better ones that really hit on the buying signals that I know other prospects would care about. So in my humble opinion, they're only going to look through the first, especially on LinkedIn, probably say 6 to 10 of them. And so I want to have the best of the bunch there. I want them to be current. I want them to be, if possible, some sort of name recognition to Jess's point of social proof. And they need to be with buying signals. So in the speaker world, it would be, showed up early, did the pre-call, delivered value, stayed afterwards, gave great value, wasn't a prima donna, that whole thing. And whatever in your world the buying signals are is what you want people to use in those recommendations. So in my opinion, it's quality over quantity, and hide the ones that are softer, and especially hide the ones that are dated.
Then, of course, some people have the opposite problem, no testimonials. So start out, go get some testimonials, use any of these strategies. And look, some testimonials are better than, having some, at least if you have something, you're off to a good start. I know, sadly, I'll say last thing on testimonials, we'll keep moving, but a friend of mine, when I published the last book, said, look at anyone you admire and go onto Amazon and look at their testimonials. The more they get, it breaks down eventually. When there's so many into an 80-20, there's going to be that small percentage of people that were like, it was all right. And then maybe that one, that 1 star or something where the person was like, I thought this was about pottery. And you're like, why did you think that? So if you look at any of those famous people, you'll see that on there. Yeah. And some of that is a badge of honor if you hit that point of having so many testimonials. But definitely, if you're taking something away, ask for them so you can get them. That's a key piece.
Yeah, for sure. Just to reiterate, 5:35 p.m. If you want to join us live, hop on camera here. Getinherenow.com is the place to go. It's going to open up a StreamYard tab in your browser. It's going to ask you for permission to share your camera, share your microphone, as always. And then you will pop on here and we can have a little chat, make a nice little comfy spot for you on the talk show sofa. Sit right next to Johnny being Corey Perlman. Sit right next to David Letterman. Yes. David Letterman being Jess Todtfeld. And I'm your humble host, Ed McMahon.
I have a question for you guys while we have that person come in about being business owners and entrepreneurs during this time. And I'll just tee it up with something that Newman, I think, helped me with years before. And it's about, getting more done in the most efficient way possible. Partly your advice, David, but also partly from reading the 4-Hour Work Week and learning how to delegate effectively and fire yourself. So things that, whatever we should be spending our limited time on, we should be letting everybody else do the things that we shouldn't be spending our time on. So I used to do websites all the time as an example. So when my client would need a website, I'd do all the stuff to do that. And finally I figured out I was soaking up all my time. So I found somebody way more talented than myself to do that. And so the more I fired myself, the more I've had the opportunity to grow my business. What specific entrepreneurial business owner advice for these times would you guys offer? Newman, I'll start with you.
Well, cash flow is king. I think that entrepreneurial business advice is always smart, but when the tide recedes is when you see who's not wearing a bathing suit. So this is the time to expect lumpy revenue, expect lumpy sales, expect some sales to drop off. Maybe you'll be happily surprised. I'm not saying be pessimistic. I'm the opposite. I'm Mr. Oh my gosh, when the world is burning down, that's when they need firefighters, and we are the firefighters. We are the heroes. I mentioned this before. We are in the space of the expert business. We have the ambulances. We have the medicine. We are driving the fire trucks. So we are now more in demand than ever. But some people are in organizational shock. Some people are hurting so badly that they're in triage mode. They're not in cure me mode. So if you're expecting lumpy revenue and you get it, you'll be in good shape. If you're expecting lumpy revenue and you put some things in place to prepare for that and you don't get it, good for you. God bless you. That's great. No problem. But there's a lot of people that are living month to month, have no cash reserves, have no business savings account, spend everything or invest everything. And again, I'm not saying make cuts and lay people off, and God forbid that's the last thing you want to do unless you absolutely have to. But now's the time. If you don't have a smart cash management plan, get a smart cash management plan. If you don't have things like a little bit of automation in your business, this is a fantastic, if you've ever wanted to do LinkedIn ads, Facebook ads, and again, I defer to Corey on this, the prices have never been better because everyone has pulled their ads. No one's advertising on Google as much. No one's advertising on Facebook as much. We're doubling down. We're like, oh my God, ads have not been this cheap in 2 years. Sign me up, coach, put me in. Because when everyone pulls back on ads, that's the time when you double down. If you have the cash management to do that, great. If you're living hand to mouth, it's much harder. What do you guys think?
Absolutely. That's so funny, lumpy business. I'm going to add to that. I'm going to give you a Jess phrase. Everybody get ready because this, I think, will help a lot of people. If you want to close more business, you'll make more offers. If you want to close more business, you'll make more offers. It's just an offer. So I'm speaking to small business people and entrepreneurs out there, and we open this thing up talking about how some people are feeling locked down, but we put offers out. And, some people say, oh, I don't know if I feel comfortable. Okay, change your offer. Add more value, do something at a different price point, make yourself more available, put more offers out there. That's what we need to do at a time like this and in general.
Completely agree. I think that's a really good point. And the other part I would just mention, and just in this sort of, and maybe you guys just bounce off this a little bit in the times that we're in, because I feel like, we've never been in anything like this before, and we're all business owners, and we're all, feeling the crunch. Let's be real honest here. I know I've lost clients. I'm sure you guys have as well. And it's been tough. And I think my immediate mode was to go into direct, heavy sales mode. And what I've realized for me is waking up every day and asking myself how I can help more, how I can serve more. And that's not just the prospects, and that doesn't mean just free help, but it also means solidifying our base and making sure that we're taking care of our clients. My question to everybody who's listening out there, in whatever form or fashion you're in business, have your clients and customers heard from you directly? Have you personally emailed them, called them, texted them, Facebook message? I don't care what it is, to find out how they're doing. This is the time that we want to hear from you. I know that that's a big deal to us. What do you guys think?
We got to help more people during a time like this. It doesn't mean that we forget about what it is that we do. And it doesn't mean we spend the whole day working for free either. But look, we're practicing what we preach. We're out here, and the three of us were actually going to just have a fun little, Zoom conversation. And David Newman said, let's do it live in front of everybody. And what kind of massive value can we put out there? And the two of us said, okay, that'd be awesome. Let's do that. Isn't that playing a bigger game? So we're trying to put out as much as we can. I know I showed up with at least 5 really good strategies, which brings me up to number 4, which is, and of course, even though I'm talking about traditional media marketing, I always think that media is marketing. When you do traditional, you have to use it as your marketing. But this is the big one. It's only 3 letters. Ask. If you want to get on television, you want to get on print, radio, any of them, internet media, which includes podcasts and, of course, blogs, you have to ask. Now, certainly you can go through somebody, and that's something that I do also. But I'm telling you right now, I'm hopefully empowering you. Go ask. If you think you should be on your local TV station, go look it up online, figure out who one of the producers or the bookers or somebody that sounds like they're actually putting a show together. Send them an email. Go to old school. Pick up the phone. Notice I'm holding it like this. I'd probably find a phone probably that you hold like this and reach out. But asking is what we need to do. What do you think, gentlemen?
Well, Newman, I think this question's right for you. So if you don't mind, I'm going to ask it to you from Raj. For coaches and sales of online courses, should the prices be reduced to get the sale?
Oh.
What do you think, David Newman? He's slowly thinking about it. He's not sure how he feels.
Yeah.
You know how Jess had one word just now about ask? I have one word just now. No.
What's your one word?
No. So here's the deal. I'm gonna combine and layer and stack some of the advice we've heard so far. So Corey says, help more, be more of service. Jess says, have more offers. I'm going to say, take your main, let's say it's a course for Raj's example. You have a course. You can do a couple of things. Keep the price exactly where it's been, assuming you're happy with it. Come up with a super premium or an elite version of that course. We'll just make up some numbers. Let's say your course sells for $997. It's called the XYZ program. Now you have XYZ Elite. XYZ Elite is a $2,000 program. $997 is the main program. Maybe you have XYZ Lite or XYZ Starter Edition or the XYZ Core program, and that's $497. And you're giving them maybe the first 3 modules out of 10, and that's the gateway drug. Then you have your main flagship course. Then you have your super premium time with Raj, time with Corey, time with Jess, some extra coaching, some extra access, some extra privileges. So if you're going to make more offers, right, think about what's the premium offer above your current offer. Don't cut your current offer, but what's the premium offer you can bracket one level up? And then what's the budget offer or the starter offer that you can bracket one level down? Because now when you have 3 levels, most people will be attracted to the middle level anyway. And then the super premium makes the regular offer look cheap. And then the starter offer for people that truly can't afford the $997, they'll come in at $497. You get them to fall in love with you, and then you can upgrade them from there. That's what I would do.
I think that's great advice. And the only thing I would add to exactly what you just said, Newman, is I talk about freemium versus premium. And again, in this day and age right now, with everybody so sensitive to offering value and selling and all that, you can start with a freemium offering, which is similar to what we're doing here, and then lead into your premium option. So the one extra layer there might be, a free webinar or a free value add, and you give it away. I mean, don't get me wrong, just like we're doing here, there's nothing you're holding back, whatever the case may be, but people are always going to want more. I tell our Dale Carnegie clients all the time, they can offer a free program on worry and stress And then companies will watch and then they'll say, okay, but what about my team? Well, yeah, let's talk about your team. And that's when the layers of premium come into play. So if you want a full-on model and you want to start with getting some eyeballs and some traction, maybe you start with a freemium program or webinar or solution, and then have your premium options to sell at the end.
Nice.
I love it. David, you found a way around people saying, should I lower my price or how do I do that? And it's a way to still have authenticity and not feel like you're doing something weird and shady. I mean, I feel like it's shady if you tell one person it's $1,000, it's $12. It's like, what is it?
Right.
There's no price. There's no integrity there. So if we come up with the light version, well, then there's still plenty of integrity.
Yeah.
And even just to add another layer to it, we say, you know, would a payment plan be helpful? You can add in a payment plan. You can put that in there, especially if you want to help more people.
Great point.
You're right.
Any question? That was a good question. I don't know who else is joining us, but this is, it's great to be able to talk. Anybody who's tuning in right now, we want to take your questions. We have 3 different experts here. Corey Perlman on social. I'm traditional media. David Newman. I was going to say, my name's Jess Todtfeld. David Newman is marketing. So we have social, media, and marketing all together for you. And we're combining it and giving you as many strategies as we can today.
We've got some rock stars on right now. I mean, Marvin LeBlanc in the house. So, you know,
Marvin LeBlanc,
the quality crew, when Marvin steps in and says hello, Marvin says, folks, hit the share button. Your peeps need to hear this. Thank you, Marvin. Well, maybe we'll do it again too. This was and then Evan made a good comment here. He said, as a salesman for the Dallas Business Journal, my large company's ad spend went up in downturns to capture market share when rebounds happened. I love it. So he's doubling down. And Marvin, of course, says, you know, I guess if we were to have a sponsor for this show, it would probably be some form of bourbon. So Marvin says bourbon for everyone. And I just want to say hello to Lance Sanderson is watching. My brother, Jamie Perlman in the house. Curtis Keiko says hello. Nikki Flock says hello. Daniel De Leon says hello. So yeah, we got a nice group watching us, guys.
And every time I do one of these with you guys, we're drinking, and there's at least one video out there where, I don't know, it gets a little dicey towards the end.
Does.
And some of these we've recorded early. I know I did one recently, and my kid was watching me because they're all around now, and I'm filling up. And he said, it's a little early to be hitting the booze, is it? And I said, it's 9 a.m. somewhere. So
one of the coaches on our team, who shall remain nameless, she says, you know, some days I just, you know, I question myself when I want to be drinking wine at 8 a.m.
Yes.
And we're like, yeah, you probably should be questioning yourself.
Yes.
I thought anything goes at this time in this environment. But anyway, I'll leave that up to people who are tuning in. Weigh in our comments below.
Yeah.
How you feel about day drinking?
Well, I know we all have one platform that we all spend a lot of time on, and that's websites. So I guess my question back to you guys because I mean, this hits really all of our sweet spots, is today's day and age. I mean, we're in 2020, you know, heading into 2021 before you know it. Where do websites rank in the different digital assets? Are they important today? Do we not have to worry about them because of social media? Newman, I'll start with you. What are you feeling on websites these days?
I am so glad you asked. Hang on one moment, and I will answer your question.
He's readying something very special.
Screen I have,
everybody. I think he might be doing a show.
Yes. Hey.
Right.
So I think the best way to look at this is that websites like this one are completely insignificant. They are meaningless. They are trite, and I think they're fairly value-free.
Yes.
No, I think websites. So this, of course, is impactsocialmedia.com. Corey Perlman and team. I would say websites are important now more than ever. And I think, Corey, you talk about this, about you shouldn't build your empire on rented land.
Yes, actually,
your website, you've got full, complete control over your website, right? We don't own Facebook. We don't own LinkedIn. So the social platforms should be used to draw attention back onto your website and to the content and to the offers, going to what Jess said, the offers on your website. Some might be free. Some might be for a consultation. Some might be for a freebie or a goodie or a download or a webinar, piece of education, piece of help, piece of value. Some might be a blog post. Some might be a podcast. But when you're thinking about where do I share this, you can share it on the platforms, but then point back to your website as the source. And of course, not every post should be self-promotional about you and your content, et cetera, et cetera. But I will share another one of my sound bites that I think is very important, more important now than it was when I first wrote it, which is your business needs to flop. And flop is an acronym for feature and leverage other people. And that is why Jess and Corey and I are here, because each of our audiences, they've heard plenty from us. And what they don't want is they don't want to hear any more from us about us. They want to hear more about other cool people, tools, resources, links that will be helpful to them. So the more that your website can also be used to feature and leverage other people, have guests on your podcast, have guests on your blog, feature quotes and ideas from other experts that you respect and that you collaborate with. So that's the real key, is to make the website not just about promoting your products and services, but about being truly helpful, radically relevant to help your clients. And not all of that content has to come from you.
I love that flop. Feature and leverage other people.
That's it.
That's right. And you can add in there flop sweat. Let's see. Sweat would be start working every another. I don't know. I will come up with it by the time the end. I was going to say something about tacos. Anyway, yes, I love that. We got to be featuring other people. And to answer your question, Corey Perlman. Oh, he's looking at the Media Ambassador site. I think it comes back to what Corey says, which is we need to own the real estate. All of the social media roads and the other roads should be leading to our website. And then our website should be leading to maybe a call with us or a conversation or a buying decision. But I always think all roads lead to the website, and then the website and any of those roads lead to us. What do you think, gentlemen? And that's right. Media Ambassadors, where we help certain people get attention from the media. And it's been going really, really well.
I completely agree with you, Jess. I want to also give love where love is due to Jay Bears, who I had originally heard the rented land versus owned land. So I'll give him credit for that. But this is land that 10 years from now, we don't know what Facebook's going to be doing. We don't know what TikTok's going to be talking about, or LinkedIn, but your website will still be your website, and the rules will not change because you own that land and the other is rented. So David's absolutely right. That's why it is such an important asset. And a couple things that I always look for just real quick on websites that, again, this is something that we can do today because a lot of us are working in the important, not urgent box. And so these are some of the things get put off to the side, but mobile responsive. Make sure that you can do the thumb test and navigate your entire site with just the use of your thumb, and that you can, what are you going to? There you go, Newman. Or just
turns out he doesn't just have business stuff on there. He has some fun stuff on there.
Oh, good Lord.
Check me out on TikTok, people. You will never see what I do on TikTok anywhere else. I guarantee it. And the fact is, you're not going to go on TikTok, so all this crazy content is totally safe.
There you go. Exactly. Right.
Totally safe.
And
sorry. Please continue, though. I interrupted your point.
Well, this should indicate how much time we do indeed have, huh, David?
Yeah.
So mobile responsive. Just make sure that you can easily navigate your site with just your thumb, and not make people do the dreaded, squeeze in, or if they have to, fumble around with their fat fingers to have to make a phone call or whatever. We don't want to have to do that in this day and age. Make sure your critical information is at the top of the page. What are people looking for? Are you missing your phone number? your physical address, the services that you offer. Something that Newman and I have talked about many times before is don't be too cute. I make the joke about speakers is that, I'll see a speaker site and it'll say, I put the happy in happiness. What does that mean? I have no idea what you're talking about. Like be very, very clear about what you do. I am a pediatric dentist in Roswell, Georgia. I mean, like, don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate it. Be very clear on the first words, the headline of your website, and what you do. So mobile responsive, a clear value proposition of what you do, your critical information so that you don't have to scroll to see it. And the last thing I'll say is, and it's one of the biggest mistakes I see, are your social media icons. Don't put any icons up there you're not actively managing. Meaning that I might go to your website and see a Google Plus icon on there and click on it, and it'll go to a page that's dead. That literally says it doesn't exist anymore. You just allowed somebody to leave your website and go to a page that didn't exist. That's kind of the worst thing you could possibly do. So go check out your social media icons, and if you're not actively managing them, get rid of it. That's what I got on websites, boys.
So again, with the three of us, we have social, we have media and marketing. I'm taking media again. And when it comes to, I wanted to come up with at least 5 solid takeaways for everybody here when it comes to traditional media marketing. Benefit from the media. Do you notice something down here in the lower corner of this screen? It's those logos. That's what we want as I try to get a little closer. Yes, I am using a selfie stick today, moving around the room, just doing it a little bit differently. But we see ABC, NBC, Fox, CBS in there. We want to put logos all over. We want to benefit from media. We want to close the loop. So people often say to me, so Jess, now in 2020, should I still care about doing traditional media? Here's how it helps your business. What it does is close the loop. We are talking to people for business. We want them to make a buying decision faster. We want to see that social proof, as I pointed out a little bit earlier. We want them to see us talking in another interview, somebody else highlighting us as the big expert, and being able to get those points across a little bit faster. And some people, and David, I'll let you throw in there, some people do it for different reasons. Could be legacy or vanity. Whatever your reason is, it can help you. David Newman.
Speaking of legacy and vanity, John Verico is here, brave enough to step up. I'm just kidding about the vanity. But let's bring John on, because I think he might be the voice of reason here.
Great.
John Verico, good to see you again.
Good to see you too. I don't know about voice of reason, because I actually was going to put my title on my profile as raging attention whore, but figured that probably wouldn't go over quite as well. People would know exactly what I was selling.
What are your thoughts on some of the crazy advice that we've been dishing around here? What would you like to add to that for people?
I just wanted to jump in and say, there is no wrong answer here. And that is really the key. I mean, it's going to work differently for each of us, for each of our audiences. But the thing is, I've always tried to tell folks, and what I try to do too, is to try everything. I mean, don't spread yourself too thin, but leave no stone unturned. I mean, you don't lose anything by trying all the different methods, because some of those methods are going to click and some of them are going to flop, but not in the way that you said. And so the idea here is to, don't be afraid to try methods that you didn't do before. I just recently, years and years ago, when I was a Navy journalist and Navy broadcaster, I used to do radio. And I just recently hooked up with Business Talk Radio to get a show. And so now I'm starting to get out there and trying to build up some listenership in this time when all the other business has gone kind of flat right now.
Yeah.
I've been getting my voice out there and trying to connect with some new audiences that way, even if I'm just getting a few tips out there that might be helpful for somebody. If it generates,
now, are people just finding you on Biz Talk Radio, or maybe the three of us should even say what you should do with all of that content?
Say that again. I didn't hear the first piece.
I'm curious if people are only finding you that show on Biz Talk Radio, or if the three of us here should give you strategies for spreading that everywhere and throwing some lighter fluid on it so you can create more business.
Well, you want to throw lighter fluid on it. I'm ready for it because, my whole thing is about the torch. And David, I think you've seen some of my posts about the torch. I call myself a torch bearer. And so the whole idea is to keep our fire burning, right? So throw some burner fluid on it, man, because I want to be able to get more out of this whole thing. I mean, I'm using my social media to spread the word and the connection about the radio show, but I don't know if I'm getting the bang for the buck I really want yet.
Jess, you want to start with our recycling, repurposing?
Because I'm ready to take notes.
I'll throw a few out there and I'll let the other guys take the baton. But my thought is, don't just do it there. Be talking about it and showing on social media, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter. If you say, oh, I don't have the time to do that all day, use a tool like RecurPost, RecurPost, where a lot of this content will recur and they'll show up at different times. Very inexpensive to automate you showing up everywhere. Put clips of the best stuff. You do an interview, say, oh, this amazing thing was talked about. Interview people who are your future clients and your prospects to get them excited about you. I'll let the other two jump in there with some strategies.
Perfect stuff.
Go ahead, Dave.
What are your thoughts about just recycling, repurposing, redeploying some of John's content?
Can you guys hear me okay?
You may be frozen or semi-frozen, but I think we can hear you.
Okay.
That's his regular face.
Yeah, I don't know why all of a sudden it froze. I am hardwired.
You can close your camera and open your camera again, but we hear you perfectly.
Okay, as long as you hear me, that's fine. Yeah, I would say just syndicate the content, John, as best you can. I always look at creating one piece of meaty content per week and then using that for your social media content for the rest of the week. So instead of trying to come up with something new every day, it's really just chunking something of value into 5 or 7 different posts.
David Newman, that was awesome. Corey Perlman, David Newman, what do you think? How can you throw lighter fluid?
So I'm just going to put...
It's going to do a little show and tell.
We'll see how it goes.
When he slides,
he's being director and news anchor. And
that is it, buddy. So here's what I'm thinking. Radio show can be a series of tweets. Take the radio show, make a transcript. That becomes an article or an abstract or an ebook or something. Take that same thing, flip on your camera, 8-10 minute video. Take some of the sound bites that you tweeted about on Tuesday, make them little graphics or memes or images. And then that kind of is your content distribution and redistribution plan, so that no good piece of content ever gets used once. So I would take the original source, tweet it, transcribe it, video it, image it, meme it, Instagram it. You don't need to create a whole bunch of original content. Take the original content, slice, dice, atomize, and redistribute.
Great. I will email you later some of the things that we had done. But by the way, I don't want to bring it up here, but I could not comment on this feed. I had to jump in to get in here in order to connect.
Were you on Facebook or were you watching the watch party, or where was it?
I was on Facebook on the watch party.
I think the watch party function does not throw comments into StreamYard. So directly on the actual post, it would, and on YouTube it would, and on Periscope it would, but the watch party thing I don't think throws comments in here.
All right, I'll take a look on trying it on YouTube. Are you doing your simulcasting on YouTube right now?
It's also on YouTube Live right now, yeah.
I can try that next time.
Okay.
It's good stuff.
Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for the advice. I greatly appreciate it. I always love being able to jump on when I can. I couldn't join you earlier because I was actually on the air. So
that's a good excuse. That's the only good excuse. If you're broadcasting somewhere else, then you can't be on with us.
Thanks again for having me, guys.
All right. Of course. Thanks, John.
And it's almost like he knew what I was talking about a moment ago, which the way to benefit from media is spread it everywhere. Use it. Don't just do it once. Like David just said, transcribe it. You do, whether it's a traditional interview or he became the media, to be able to have his own show, take it, should put it in front of your right fit clients, interview your right fit people, show up places. This is us returning to the beginning of today's broadcast, which David was saying. We don't want to freeze. We want to show up, help more people, and serve more people.
That's it, my friends. How about let's do one final lightning round of Monday, April 20th, snapshot in time. Does not have to be evergreen, wisest advice ever. But for today, what is the departing thought that you would like to leave in people's minds to get them through this week and to make them rock stars in social and media and marketing?
You want to start, Jess? Go for it.
I'll throw one in there, which is something I've been practicing and now I'm preaching, which is try something that you haven't been able to try so far. So for me, it was some very specific LinkedIn marketing. I've wanted to do it. I knew what I probably should do, and I went and did it. So whether it's being in the media, whether it's doing something new on social, whether it's taking your whole marketing and blowing it up in a way that you always wanted to, go try something that you haven't until right now. Gentlemen?
I like it. Again, I don't know if it's because my 2 kids just jumped on their PlayStation at the same time. I'm freezing up a little bit. Can you hear me, Newman?
Yes.
All right. My thing would be, it's a little bit, it plays off of what Jess said. And it's just, this is the time when everybody's hit the proverbial, like I said, the pause button. And at some point, hopefully very soon, we're going to hit the play button. And you don't want to look back and regret the time that you had now that we didn't do things that we could have done to make our business better. So do that social audit. Watch out for your pitfalls on your website. If you have places that need a little bit more love, like Google or Yelp or Facebook, whatever the case may be, build a bigger audience. This is a great time to build your database. I'm trying to do that with my database right now and getting more people in and things of that nature. So make sure that when we hit that play button again, hopefully soon, that you maximize the time that you had during this time to set you at a better path than you were before we got into this mess.
Love it. And I'm going to just echo exactly what Corey said, which is this is a great time to get positioned for the restart, right? Because here's what's going to happen. We're going to have, think of us that we're in a tunnel right now, and the tunnel's dark. And we can literally see the light at the end of the tunnel. And there's going to be 2 kinds of companies or 2 kinds of entrepreneurs. The first kind's going to come out into the tunnel and go, oh, wow, it's really bright. They're going to be blinded by the light, disoriented, confused, not ready, and just kind of stumbling and fumbling and tripping a little bit. And they're going to have to find their rhythm and find their pace again. Then there's going to be people like us and people that I hope you are, which is you're about 2/3 through the tunnel and you start getting ready and you start running and you start increasing your pace and increasing your speed and increasing your conditioning. And man, by the time you hit the end of that tunnel, you are going 60 miles an hour and you are on track and you are going to pass everybody that is stumbling and fumbling and trying to figure out how to reboot and how to restart, because you've been thinking about that and preparing for it for weeks and months ahead of time. So even if you do nothing else, prepare for the restart. It's going to get you energized. It's going to get you more optimistic. You're going to be vibrating on a higher level. You're not going to be giving in to the news and the doom and the gloom and, oh, it's going to get worse before it gets better. Great. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But we need to get ready for it to be awesome again. And the sooner we do that, the sooner it will be.
Amen.
You can't say it any better than that.
Bam.
All right, friends. You guys are awesome. We'll do this again. Next time we'll have a bourbon sponsor. I think that'll be important. Maybe next week we'll call up Woodford. We'll call up, Buffalo Trace. We'll say, listen, we got 3 rude dudes. We got 3 Jews. This is like Passover.
Without the food.
Without the food. That's it.
We took the one good thing of Passover and got rid of it.
That's it. Passover without the food. All right. Gentlemen, a pleasure as always. We'll do more next time.
Love you guys.
All right. Love you guys. Peace